38-22 in favor of the Rebels of Wabeno, Laona. We're joined right now by head coach Gibraltar, Mike Peck, and coach. What was that meeting like underneath the goalpost after coming so close to winning a game, having overtime, to what will go into the stat book as a 16-point loss?
The conversation was pretty positive and upbeat. Today was the day where I wanted to be positive in the postgame. We could have nitpicked lots of little things that had we changed one way or another that could have changed the outcome very easily. But I just told the boys I'm actually 100% proud of them. This is the second game we played Laona in the last 3 years on this field. It pretty much came down to the last play of the game. And unfortunately, today it didn't go our way. And it's not always going to go your way in life. And this is one of those great character building things where we got to make a decision when we walk back to the locker room. We're going to walk down with our head up or our head down. And I just got to tell them I'm super proud of them, and I think the effort we gave bouncing back after the way we got handled last week was just huge. The fact that we were in this game, for the most part, should have been up 2 scores at one point, but we weren't. And then the fact that they kind of came back, made a big play on us, and we could have cashed our chips in right then and there and given up 2 or 3 scores in the last minute and a half like we did last week in the first half, but they didn't do that. They rebounded, gave ourselves a chance, had a play dial up that we haven't ever ran before, and then you see what happens. So it happens, but I'm proud of these kids, and if we give that effort the rest of the year, there's going to be nothing to be worried about or anything, because these kids will come out on the right side more often than not.
And you were able to kind of return back to some of those, maybe unknown plays, or some of the plays that maybe been reserved for practice, being able to work them out, and it seemed like you had some success with it. There was just maybe a couple of times where penalties got in the way.
Yeah, unfortunately, at least from my vantage point and some of the things that happened today, it's hard to explain to a kid when a call's made and you can't understand it yourself. So our kids, I think, battled adversity. I think some of the times they're wondering what the calls were. I couldn't see them from where I was at, so it makes it difficult to explain to a kid how you're going to do it. And it's about talking about adversity and reacting, because in life, most of our kids, once they're done with their senior year, are probably going to go on to some type of college or go right to work, and eventually you're going to be in a position where down the road in life things aren't going to go your way, and you're going to have to be able to adjust to it. And this is one of those things where it's going to be a character builder. They're going to have to go home. Some of them are probably going to kick themselves based on what happened down there on 1st and goal from the 1, and probably it's going to be a rough night for some of the kids, but they're going to have to decide, are we going to feel sorry for ourselves and go on the tank, or are we going to come out and roll out Laona next week?
One of the really positive plays that we saw, you got a chance to see Brady Keita throw a ball, and he was able to connect with Sam Lindenberg, kind of dialed up on a trick play there. You're already smiling. You liked how that play worked out, didn't you?
Yeah, it's kind of hard because Brady goes in quite often as a backup running back, so I just never really know. Obviously he's listed on our sheet as our backup quarterback. He's a freshman quarterback. We got 4 JV games scheduled, so he'll get lots of action on JV this year, but it's nice to see him get a chance to throw a meaningful ball in the middle of a game where it really means something. It's not the last 5 minutes of a 50-22 game, and so for him to get a meaningful throw with stress on him was actually a really good thing for us. We'll see lots of great things out of that kid for the next 3.5 years.
And obviously, and we'll end it with this before we say goodbye to our listeners. It's easy. It's kind of easy to kind of look back and think, yeah, of course, I was going to keep it positive and stuff like that. But what did you kind of have to tell yourself going to that huddle afterwards? Obviously, there was a lot of frustration. I'm sure if you go back and listen to this, you're going to sense the frustration from us with clock stopping and some of the penalties and stuff like that. How hard is it for you to kind of go, you know what, I'm going to take the positive approach on this?
It was actually a long walk between the 3 coaches. We were all talking, and there was a lot of conversations about some of the things that we said on the sideline that I don't necessarily want to share on strategy and what we were talking about. And the end all be all that I said to the 2 guys walking there, I said, we're still young. For us, it's only our 3rd year together, so maybe some of the decisions we made today unfortunately didn't help our kids today, but maybe we can learn from them, and when we're in this situation down the road, either later this year or 2 years from now, we can lean back and say, oh yeah, when we were at Laona, it was here and we did this, maybe we should. So it's all those strategy things that there's a lot of ifs and maybes that go on the sideline, and once the rubber hits the road, then you can second guess yourself and see what goes on. But so that was our conversation going in. Normally I don't talk to the kids first. I normally let my other 2 coaches talk, but I had to be the first one to talk today because, like I said, it's all about being proud of these kids. They put in a lot of hard effort. We've got a great group of juniors who, about 8 of them, that are normally in the weight room every morning, and it's hard. It's hard for them to see that hard work is actually, benefiting them when they lose a close ball game. But that's what I told them. I'm proud. Just keep doing what you're doing, and it's going to take care of itself. As I've been telling a lot of people that asked, they keep asking us how good we're going to be this year, and I said we'll know a lot more after this game. So I knew Laona was going to be good just based on when we played them 3 years ago and what I knew they were going to bring back. And the fact that we went toe to toe with them and seeing some of the scores they put up already this year, I think our kids are going to be just fine.
38-22, your final score here, Coach. We always thank you for coming up after these games, and we'll see you next week against Algoma.
Sounds good, Tim. Thanks.
That's where.